counsel. We ask for.
What do you make of today's proceedings?
Well, today's proceeding is good. I think the purpose is that the public has interest in this case. Basically, when you hear that the judge was saying that the issues we raised are all issues of law, and next thing he had done is that he had authorized the clerk to write the JFK to do an examination of the defendants regarding the sodomization of the defendants' allegations and the torture. And so he said that is a factual issue. The only disagreement we have here is that we want an independent medical examination. We want a psychiatrist, we want a psychologist, a medical examiner to examine these guys.
Do you have
That's
a fear?
the only exception we have with the judge. But that's what happened today.
Do you have a fear relative to the
The
examination?
FDA is controlled by government. That's the reason we said. You remember in the courtroom we said we need an independent. Because you're talking about psychological torture. If somebody is physically harmed, they have other consequences. They suffer emotional distress, mental anguish, pains, and sufferings. And so that trauma, you need a psychologist involved. You also need a psychiatrist involved. The GFK does not have a psychologist or a psychiatrist. So what we need now is that we are asking the court to. That's why we are asking the court to get.
Chief, you argue about the charge. You want that trial to be coming out.
What we brought before to the court's attention is that this is not the only court that in Liberia you have here. They have proceedings that are not televised. When we were arguing the Funaki Kopa's case, recordings were allowed in the Supreme Court. It's not all of the time. It's not all of the time. But there are sometimes because of the public interest nature. Because the purpose, if you go further on, the purpose in the contemporary time is that you find out that it leads to transparency, it enhances community engagement, it enhances the public information regarding the transparency and accountability of the process. So you will observe that these are laws that were made way back, and so sometimes the judges can decide, some courts can decide. Now, we are now in the only country. There are other countries in the United States, in other African countries, they televise it for certain cases. Okay, so it was just a question of the judge to see whether he could exercise his discretion. The same way the judge has the authority to exercise his discretion in the approval and the denial of bond when somebody poses a criminal appearance form. So that was not an intentional question of disrespecting the rules of court. It is left with the discretionary authority of the court to say no. So what we just expect is that when the judge says, if the judge says no, it's no problem, we don't have problem.
So relative to...
we thought that it was important that maybe the public would follow it, like you have to the National Elections Commission. Majority of the cases that are heard at the National Elections Commission, election cases that come at the level of the Supreme Court, there are cases that you guys can go and tell about. I'll give you an example, the Ida Gonglo Blair case versus the present vice president who was senator at the time, the Nima election. I represented the former vice president, the present vice president, when you were contesting for the senatorial position. That entire trial was televised. It came at the level of the Supreme Court. So these are just questions that you will ask the judge to exercise his discretion. It is not with the intent to undermine the integrity of the court, because every lawyer is an arm of the court and must keep the dignity of the court and protect it.
So, Councillor, relative to bringing in independent medical practitioners, will you trust the government to bring in their own independent practitioner, or are you waiting to honor the court?
No, the court will do that. We will make that decision. That's why we're asking the court. The reason we accept that is that we are asking the court to appoint an independent medical examiner, because the defendants are saying they don't trust JFK because government regulates JFK. That's what they say. And we speak through they speak through us. It's not our own statement. We are the employees of the defendants. So whatever they tell us to say, when we want to sign in law, we got to bring it to the attention of the court for the court to take decision.